Okay, welcome. Today's the 31st of January, and it's the Gno.land developer call contributor edition. So we've shared the agenda. I'm going to screen share so that you guys can see what we have. Can you see my screen? Yeah, okay. But if anyone wants to grab it, just let me know so that I can hand it off. It looks like we have Territory up first to run us through some of their work. I don't know, Antoine or Zuma or Gopher, if you want to grab it.
Yeah, sure. Maybe I can introduce and go for the console. Just maybe to give the overview of the context for the Territory quarter, we just had 10 upgrades with our Cosmos chain this week, so it was a bit intense and we're a bit overloaded with different topics. But at the same time, we're basically working and fixing some upgrades of the escrow reel. Maybe Gopher, do you want to share more details?
Okay, let me share the details.
Do you want to share your screen or like you'll verbally share them?
No.
Okay.
I will just voice.
Okay.
Yeah. So recently we've been focusing on updating the escrow realm for actual use case with on-chain project manager frontend. So, the escrow realm was originally developed with just the realm code base, and it was it used to be connected to the on-chain project manager frontend. It's connected now, and there were several things that need to be added, like the milestone priorities and also the contract details as metadata. And so the the main items that require updates for accepting the contract when only one party is known. So let's say there's one project owner who has funds and who don't know who to use for this project. And in that case, the project developers can submit the requests, and the fund owner can select one of them. So this is already implemented, and also we realized that multiple milestones can be in progress. At first, it used to have only one active milestone, and when one milestone accomplished, it used to move to next milestone. But now it's managing multiple milestones in parallel, and it's also implemented. And another one that's important is multiple payment tokens management. So far, we've been using only one GRC20 token, but we are building a generalized realm that can manage any kind of tokens, or any GRC20 tokens that are dynamic, and also the bank module tokens like NOT. And this is what we are building now. Norman shared the existing work that's already done for the GRC20, the registry, and we will use that as a reference for this new realm building process. That's all.
Does this, just out of curiosity, does this escrow update for on-chain need feedback or?
Which feedback?
The escrow update for on-chain project manager, the draft.
Yeah, we have on-chain project manager front end that's already developed, and yeah, UI is already available. And while we were connecting the scroll realm to the front end, we found there are various things to modify, and we are in progress of modification. And those simple changes are all added, but the important thing is the payment tokens management, multiple payment tokens. So for currently available tokens and also future available tokens, and also the bank module tokens, native tokens.
Also to give details, I think the new UI will be ready next week, since the Realm updates allow it to be more accurate for different user flows. So now we just have to finish front end and allow more tests for non-dev. But yeah, of course, we'll need also some feedback on the Realm escrow system, and maybe to have more details on this.
Okay. There's not really any blockers now that to cover.
No
Okay.
blocker at the moment.
Okay. Other than time.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeff, do you want to grab the birdie? Maybe starting with the no social updates to UI. Is this something you want to screen share, or should I show my?
Yeah, Yuri, do you want to show something about the UI on the screen? If you're there.
Yes.
All right, let you share.
Okay, we are working on a initial version of social from scratch. We already have a new app integrated with no key running, so we are basically able to, or we should able to be able to post messages on our board, on our private node. We are facing some issues, but we are okay working on it. Another thing but this, just to share, that was made with the latest version of Expo, that if you code React Native, you may know Expo. It's a complete framework that people use to do mobile apps that able to run on iOS and Android. So yeah, we are able to run on the latest version on it. We are also, we work on a NPM package that we let people able to build the same apps very easy. So it's just a matter of installing a native package and importing TypeScript or JavaScript file, and it will be it will self-structure the app to run a local gRPC server, and become able to communicate with the Gno key on mobile. Yeah.
Yeah, to make it clear, this example social app is built on top of GNO Native Kit, and that package means that the developer of the mobile app does not need to build GNO Native Kit, right? GNO Native Kit has a bunch of Go code in it, but that comes with the package.
Yep.
Okay, and I need to share some things too, so let me grab the screen, entire screen. So do you see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
So just a couple of quick comments. To do this testing, of course, we have a new realm, and so we are using our test node which is running Gno.dev, kind of in portal loop mode, right? So if I log into this server and I do a git pull, it will pull the latest Realm code that we have for Gno Social and restart the Gno.dev. But otherwise, this is the web interface, but the mobile, of course, is going to be loading these messages and displaying them also. So we're big customers of Gno.dev. And speaking of which, we did create a PR to do some stress testing, which is a big part of this project. You all can read it. It's part of Gno. We want it to be a little file that's in the MISC directory, stress tests. And I have some preliminary results and some suggestions. Guillaume is working on these two to make Gno.dev be more memory efficient, because that's the first thing we noticed, is that it uses a lot of memory to store 250,000 messages. And then what else? I have a feedback question, but real quick. So when we want to run this stress test, instead of starting Gno.dev, does it make any sense just to do it in Gno VM locally, or is it just as the same to run Gno.dev? I don't know if Gno VM would be able to perform better without having extra overhead, or maybe that's not what we want to test. I wonder if anybody has feedback on that.
You should test on both, I think.
Okay.
Ultimately, you should test on Gno VM because it will be the production thing. But Gno.dev is here like to help you develop faster, I think. So both, definitely both.
The reason is that this is ultimately to test, running a big app on the blockchain. So I guess the blockchain node is going to be running the Gno VM, right? And so
yeah, definitely.
So
Gno.dev is running the Gno VM, right?
Right. So that's what I mean. Is it worth the extra effort? Because it's so nice to use Gno.dev.
I don't think it would, the test anyway is one about testing RAM storage anyway, from what I understand, right?
Yeah.
So in any case, you wouldn't need to test it against like a blockchain node. So you cannot test it like with like Gno detached from the chain. So I think it's pretty much the same. Okay, yeah. I guess the only thing is that Gno VM does save to file instead of keeping in memory. So it does make sense to see how it compares with writing.
But Guillaume, that's number one. Guillaume's going to implement that in Gno.
Right. Okay. So if Guillaume's going to implement that, then it's going to be pretty much the same as the Gno.land node. So,
well, we'll keep this as an open question. As we get farther down the road, we can maybe do both, like Guillaume says.
The thing is, it's much more about the configuration. Gno.dev have a specific configuration that is really close from the node we are using for testing. So it's much faster than Gno VM. So in the real scenario, Gno VM will be slower, of course, but that's normal.
Interesting.
Yeah, that the main difference between the actual production VM will be like the configuration, the consensus configuration that for me that slow down Gno VM. You will not have this on Gno.dev, but that's not normal.
All right, so we'll keep that in mind. We may want to test both, like you said, eventually. I have one quick question before my bigger one, which is, of course, we this is the render output, but we really are just going to have a function call that the app can call to, list 10 messages or 20 messages. It's going to have some return value, and we want to return a JSON string. And so I know people are working on JSON formatters. What should we use if we just want to format a nice little JSON object as a string and return it as a string from the realm function?
So this one is actually a hot topic, quote unquote, because we've actually discussed this with the team last Monday. The answer is that long-term vision is that you shouldn't need to do JSON marshalling.
Okay.
And essentially the way that works is that the realm function returns like a go type, a go struct, or whatever. And then it's the responsibility of the RPC, the networking layer of the node, to do any marshalling to a format that the end user can use, be that JSON or be that XML. You know, if you're masochistic, or whatever. So
that's preferable, of course.
Yeah. So that's the long-term vision. The short-term vision, I would recommend, like, there's two concurrent packages being made that kind of both try to tackle the JSON marshalling from different angles. There was one made by Territory, which is called the micro-JSON, UJSON. And if you just look for UJSON on the repository, you'll find that.
Okay.
And then there's another one which was made by Jun from Unblock, which is also you can also find if you look up JSON, and he demoed it a couple of weeks ago, if I recall correctly.
Sorry, my JSON is just a JSON parser thing for now.
Well, luckily we don't need to parse. We just format. I mean, we could just hand code format this thing too, because it's going to be really simple.
I'm also tackling some marshalling or some marshalling things, but I don't know how to make it possible.
Okay.
It sounds like there's possibly a third way. I don't know. It depends on how the micro one works.
Mm-hmm.
If you write in Go, for every, say, typed value, a way to print it, just recursively dumb, then it shouldn't be too hard, because there's only so many types, right? A structure has curly braces, array has square, and then there's primitive stuff. So it's just escaping. So it wouldn't take more than a day to get something going really quickly and Go. And then we can have a internal module that gives access to that temporarily, so you can just call a Go function and it'll just marshal anything. But so there's ways to do it now.
Okay. We'll try each of those. I think this is pretty simple. We just kind of, whatever's here, we want to return it as something structured. So I think we can handle that. I'll look at those. Like I said, luckily formatting is a lot easier than parsing, so we should be okay. And Michelle, you can stop me at any point here. I will mention this, but if we're going past our slot, I know there's a lot of people to go. We can either just skip this time because it's not super crucial, or should I just go into it?
I mean, I think so. Maybe we can give 5 minutes to it.
Okay, Alex, this is mentioned in the pull request as number 4. So the purpose of the stress test is to call a bunch of times. What I'm doing right now is using, so it's a Go routine, and it calls run, which we now implement. Thank you to people for merging. And it makes a tiny little script, I'll call it, which it loops 50 times and posts a reply 50 times, which is great. And then outside, we call this a crap load of times until we want to get up to 500,000 messages or something. The point is, if I do something else, if I go temporarily update the boards realm itself and make a little method, it's called test1, and it loops and calls create reply, this thing can loop 400 times, whereas the other one can only loop 50. And so it'd be a lot nicer to loop a lot more. So the question is, and we're using the same amount of gas and everything, is that because for the VM to, do run and load up this thing takes so much more overhead that we don't have enough time left to use up the CPU cycles to call create reply? Hopefully you see what I'm getting at.
Can you repeat that, please? So
yeah, I didn't catch that either.
You want to run
Okay.
this more, but you could only run it 50 times for a given
Yeah,
amount.
we can only run it 50 times if we can only do something which calls create reply 50 times if we use run. If using the run thing, but instead if we make a normal realm function and without using run, and then we call this, and then this thing is going to loop and create a bunch of replies. There's a limit. Each time you do reply, it uses some gas, right? This can go 400 times, and using a call to this custom little thing, whereas if we use run, it can only do it 50. And I assume that's because this run takes a bunch of overhead just to
for the parsing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
a lot of overhead.
It had when like run internally works by doing like not a PKG and then a call, essentially, right? It combines the two, but it's doing both operations. And the first one can take a lot of time because it actually like also processes the files that it imports, right? To make sure that the code pre-processes correctly and thus doesn't have like wrong types and so on. And so I can see that taking a lot of overhead, honestly. So it's probably that.
Okay.
Maybe you should consider the run like having a shell script, and as soon as you want to industrialize your call, you create a dedicated package that you upload once that you can call multiple times after. So it's a shortcut, but you have a way to make something more optimized.
Interesting. So you're suggesting using run to do an add package.
I suggest using run. I don't suggest anything. I just think myself I will use run most of the time. Maybe 90% of my calls will be just run once. And when something becomes common enough, I will consider writing my personal helper packages, helper realms, so that I can just call a single command. And the parallel with my current life is sometimes I just have shell script or snippets, and at some point I decide to create a binary. When I have experienced it enough, and I definitely don't want to edit it too often and just use it regularly. So that's how I will use it. In practice, I'm okay to basically pay more gas so I can be lazy and just iterate quickly.
Yeah.
And as soon as I want to optimize, then I switch to something that anyone can use more easily, including myself.
Okay, we'll take a look at that. Because of course, when we're trying to add lots of messages, the loop is better if it can do a lot more. Go ahead.
I think it makes sense to continue using run a lot because it's a new feature. It has at least one bug that I know, and probably additional bugs. And especially here, you are creating a new tool. It makes sense to make some to start like this and to eventually migrate later, because actually, we had this expectation that the parsing override will exist in practice. Thanks to you, we know that it's actually 75% of your call is about parsing in your case.
Pretty much, yeah.
And create reply is basically something that will take an AVL tree, add a new entry. So basically 50 AVL tree addition with some lookups. is just 1/3 of the parsing of actually a pretty short contract. So yeah, the override is definitely expensive.
Are we sure that it isn't a gas issue? I mean, a memory issue, like it's running out of memory because we don't have the synchronous fiber yet?
Yeah. I think it's the CPU count limit or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, if Jeff, do you remember if the error message was specifically about gas?
I believe so. I can confirm that, but I believe it was gas.
All right. So if it is gas, so we're saying that add package takes a lot. Maybe I wonder if add package just isn't tuned right, like something's just out of tune.
Yeah, that would be the meta question.
Yeah.
Well, I can try to get some more details. In other words, try to measure how much gas, just printing hello, and see what the overhead is.
Yeah, and what the components are. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's part of the purpose of this project is to kick the tires here. So, okay, that's yeah.
I just think that if like the limit that we have is probably on a gas, right? With the current way we count gas is probably too low. I hit it a number of times and noticed anyway. So
yeah, that's the other solution.
Yeah, just like.
Well, that's a question for Gno.dev. I know that Gno.dev already has a max gas that's much bigger than if I run Gno.land directly.
Right.
And maybe we can convince Gillum that is that a parameter you put in, Gillum? Can we crank that up? Can we increase the
gas one? I think we can change it. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the maximum that it allows right now. I think it's.
Is that 10 million?
I think it's one. Let me.
Yeah, 10 million should be.
Let me switch to the correct window so I can actually see this code. I believe that it's 100 million. So the Gno.land is 10 million, and Gillum's Gno.dev is 100 million.
Right. Okay.
Maybe
so it's ready
if we just get him to increase this even more for Gno.dev.
I thought it was 10 million, and it's already 100 million. Then boy, I have.
Yeah, I think 10 million is when you just run Gno.land normally. Then that's the max.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check that.
Okay, I'll add that to the little wish list in the for things to bug Gillum about. I'll add that here.
Speaking about wish list, I created an issue probably yesterday about Gno.dev wish list. Feel free, since you are one of the biggest users, early users, to check out and extend the wish list, please.
Okay, should I put these there, or maybe I should move these there?
Let me reference it from the other one and do whatever makes sense for you.
Okay, I'll keep them here because it's specifically about stress testing, which is more specific. All right. Well, thanks very much. It took a lot of time, hopefully not too much, but answered a lot of questions.
And Jeff, I had a quick question for you, just so I could understand. You mentioned no-dev portal loop mode. What is that? How does that work?
Maybe Manfred can explain. Portal loop is something which will kind of automatically reload the code from the official Git repo, but we're kind of all we're doing is starting Gno.dev in a cloned repo on our server, and so then if I log into the server and I do a git pull and update the repo manually, then Gno.dev will use the new code. So it's sort of like portal loop.
Okay, so it's turning no-dev into a sort of version of portal loop.
Yeah.
Yep. So basically, the current portal loop we're working on is more the industrial one, the official one with extra and fancy features, but also requiring more DevOps operations. And since Gno.dev is actually right now at the beginning something very great for local development, the idea was to consider, okay, what about making Gno.dev something also to expose a custom version of Gno? So Gno with an additional repository. In the case of Bertie, it would be a social network-oriented repository. And if it works well, Gno.dev can become the local tool, but also the small startup staging tool. And I think it makes sense to to consider this and just to make Gnodev even better. So that actually you start working with Gnodev as a local developer, and maybe you open a tunnel with ngrok or something similar. And by opening the tunnel, you can expose your laptop Gnodev instance to someone at the other part of the world, or just as Bertie consider setting up a domain name and having an official staging with all their contracts. So instead of having to manage migrations, because their goal is to iterate a lot on their contract suite, the goal is for them to just update their repository regularly and to have a staging-oriented Gnodev instance, allowing anyone to see their work. If you look recently, Flipendo by Dragos, he made a demonstration where you had to run a local node. And I think if Gnodev can make staging easy, we can expect every companies, grantees, or individuals using Gnodev to dev and using Gnodev to expose as soon as it's something small enough. Basically, the main difference between the real Portaloop and Gnodev is Portaloop is oriented to make sure to never miss a transaction, to have also more monitoring, to disable auto reload, to optimize storage on disk. While Gnodev is definitely about trying as much as we can to make local development easy with auto reload, with some shortcuts. Because, for instance, if a variable was used for a goal and then for another goal, for a human it's obvious that the variable should be reset to the default value. But for Gnodev, which tries its best, technically you can have strange behaviors. Portaloop is definitely not a dev tool. It's a staging with real features and way more security to guarantee the takes, restoration, and save.
Okay, thanks. That's a helpful explanation, at least for me to understand the difference in the term.
Just if I can add, Portaloop is ready. Sorry, I missed the beginning of the call. But Portaloop is ready, and don't hesitate to make some transaction and use it. Normally, it should be bug-free now, but and always best to have improvement and real and more users and usage.
Yay, that's good. Okay, so moving on, I think that it's the OnBlock team. Andrew, it looks like you want to do a cool demo with the air gap features.
Yep, I'll share my screen.
Okay, let's go.
And I'll try to make it quick since we're running out of time. Oh. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
All right, let me just, I don't think we have time to share our entire progress this week, so I'll just drop the link right here so you guys can check it out, and I'll start it with a demo. And so Adena will have a new look in the following update, 1.9.0, which will be shipped in the following week, and here it is. So this is a new landing page, and
Andrew, I think we can't, or I can only see your meeting page. I don't see the demo, actually.
We don't?
No.
I don't think that. Let me actually reshare my screen. All right, hope it works this time. Okay.
Yep.
How about now?
Looks good.
All right. So this is the new landing page for Adena, and our key objective for this update was to promote the usage of secure self-custodial account management methods, such as hardware wallets and air-gap accounts, while trying to hide more convenient options, such as creating a new wallet or importing your seed phrase, or MPC, which is basically creating a account that's which you can sign in with your social accounts. So anyways, I'll show you how it looks. And we added a warning page and a questionnaire, which ensures that the user has basic knowledge of key management. So we've got a couple of questionnaires here, and this is a new feature that allows you to hide your seed phrase. And quickly, let's do the airgap part. All right, so this is a new way of creating an account, the airgap account. So it basically creates a view-only wallet by letting you sign in with your account address. So you basically just enter your account and sync it. And once you return to the extension, you can see that it's been added. And the way you sign transactions with this account is you actually upload signed transaction files, which you can create using Gno.key. So this file right here is the output of what you get if you sign your transaction with Gno.key. And once you open it, you can see that it's basically just a signed transaction file. And we're going to click on send and drag and drop. And Adina runs through the transaction file and shows you the summary. And you can actually see the whole transaction that are here. And so basically this transaction is going to send one GNOT token. And once I hit on broadcast, this is the transaction that was just sent, and we can verify it in GnoScan. And yep, that's it. So this will allow users to keep their seed phrase or their private key in a separate account in an air-gapped environment, while just using Adina as a way to broadcast transactions safely. And that's it for this demo.
Oh, that looks really nice.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll hand it over to the next team, but if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them in chat and I'll try to reply.
Yeah, next up, Varmeta. Not, do you want to, I don't think you guys saw the agenda, so I just put account sessions update and no Unity SDK update, but
Right,
Yeah.
right. So I think like I'm from my outside view, share progress from outside in regard to these two things we are working on.
Let me share my screen. Yeah. Could you see my screen?
yes.
Okay. The first thing I will update the status of Gno Unity SDK. In last week, we had done something for the we refactor the Unity sample code for integration with new architecture, and we re-implement the create account and import account, and testing for the get balance from the devnet and testnet, and the initial logout function, and you can see the video. And for the next planning, we will making the future for the get forecast from the DNS and DNS if it can work, but we had some trouble with get forecast on the DNS, and my team will ask after on the on the Git for do that. And for we will our plan will making the transaction on Unity sample, and the next thing we will making interact with the smart contract. For the special case is create a boss with a smart contract code. And the second thing we want to update is about the section account. And after the last meeting on the period week, we see we have two options for the section account, and so we want to making the correctly what the competition about the our approach and the manifest approach. So my team think we will making a simple implementation, follow the approach from the manifest, and after that we can making the comparable table for the our option for the smart contract based method, and my approach. And we want to compare about the future, about the gas fee, and about the performance, and security, and flexibility, and ability for develop on us after we making a simple implementation. And I think we will finish that in that weekend, and we can prepare for the upcoming on the I remember the sick and we will prepare the simple demo for the randomized approach, and the comparison table, and we can discuss more detail on the next meeting. Yeah, that's all our team want to say today for our status.
Thank you. Is there? I don't know if there are any questions on this, but if not, we keep moving. I have Node.js next. I don't know, Morgan, if you want to give an update or if you want to hand it quickly to Flipando and Dragos.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't see any notes. I just put it in here as something to.
Yeah, so I've been kind of slowly getting back on it. I mean, I got 2 items that I wanted to do. I don't know how many times I've said this already, but essentially, yeah, the point I am right now is that I want to try to bring the Gno.js packages and realms to the monorepo. And it's doing like there are like 2 requirements that I managed to sort out right now. The first one is to create the string conversion package. Now that is depending on a pull request by Maxwell, which fixes many issues that there are in the ways we handle floats. Bit shifting, which causes bugs in the code. Anyway, so Maxwell managed to fix that, and I'm waiting for that PR to get merged. Then I made another PR this week, which is about adding support, adding like new package to Gno. Let me quickly show you. So this new, can you see my screen? Yeah, okay. This new PR that I made adds a new package, which for something that I did quickly in Gno.js, but was not very good, which was an ID generation, essentially working by incrementing an ID and then padding it out with zeros so they could work with AVL. And And I saw Dragos using that, and I really thought, well, we need to have a more longer-term solution for this, because that solution doesn't work if you go above 1 billion or 10 billion users. And it's an edge case. I mean, right now we won't have a lot of smart contracts with more than 10 billion users, but still it's something that I wanted to fix. So have IDs that could work with AVL nicely. So this is my solution to that. Generates some sort of nice IDs, and yeah, just waiting for that PR to get merged. So now I'm back on track on the Gnotis side on fixing up this PR that I was doing here. This PR essentially breaks down the what we had what we had in the realm into several different packages, right? So like the rows file is moved to package/engine.go. So there's around 3 packages here. There's the realm that calls them. This is yeah, pretty much the reorganization. The CI is broken for this, and I was sort of thinking that probably I need to update this whole thing to use Gno.dev instead, because the kind of idea is to also make it like work nicely for like the what I wanted to do here is make it work nicely for local development. So I kind of wrote the script anyway. I'm probably just gonna scrap that in favor of just using Gilham's great Gno.dev. And yeah, that's what we'll probably be doing this week. Aside from my normal core team tasks. So slowly but surely getting there. Just trying to work on it while doing 10,000 different things at once, and making some slow progress. So I'm happy with that. Yeah, that's it.
Very long Slack messages that I have to keep. Okay, and then maybe Dragos. I don't know if you want to screen share, but there were
very
some points
quick.
here.
Very
and
quick.
congratulations on it, Bando. It's really cool. I've been.
Thank you. Today, just a very short update for me. I think most of my update will be 2 questions that are listed in the HackMD issue, but I can quickly share something visual about this. This is like so this is like a feature that is visual. Basically, we have unfinished game. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah. So we have unfinished game management. We can see if a user starts a new flip and then abandons it, the state is lost. The UI state is lost, but the actual contract remains on the blockchain. But until now, there wasn't a way to actually get those game IDs and actually show to the user what is the state of the game that he started to play and then stop. So there is this. This is an update that has an UI. There are more updates, but not all of them have an UI yet. This has been pushed to production. We can see what type of game we have, like 16 tiles or 64. We can see how many flips are locked inside, and we can have a small image generation of how the actual game looks. What part of the game have been solved here. The game is 25% solved. This just only the first row has been solved. Is 12.5. So that's pretty. If I do this, I should be able to see the game, and yeah. So that's the update that is with a UI. On top of that, I've been kind of struggled with a bug, and I created an issue which is listed in HackMD. I got some good feedback, but I can still reproduce this. And my intention with mentioning this in the dev call is to gather more eyes on this. Either I'm doing something horribly wrong, or there are some edge cases where we cannot update an AVL tree with the same key. And I don't know if this is the actual the intended behavior or something like that. There are some few comments on the issue. Feel free to look at that. If anyone wants to chip in on that issue right now, that's great. If not, just a short question. Okay, go ahead now. Yeah, I thought you wanted to say something.
I'll just say something very briefly about the issue. What Dylan posted was relating to the other issue with the same error that we found during Gnosis, which that one is actually fixed, because if you try to reproduce it, it doesn't the error doesn't show up. I want to sort of narrow down specifically what's the issue happening there. If you could just leave on that thread a link to the source code, where this of the code that you're running, and what calls you're making to run it. I can try to work out a way to reproduce it, or you can try making a TX star test yourself, which is what we use to reproduce these weird bugs that only happen with RAM storage.
Okay, I'll post some update related to the code. It's easy right now. You can just go on the public address GNOflippanda XYZ, do a certain string of steps, and then you will run into this. And now my last question is about the. I remember a few months ago we had a presentation of a new type of data, which was kind of slice, kind of map, but it also allowed pagination. I think it was you, Morgan, working on that, and it was allowing large data amounts to be pulled from the backend. I want to know if you have any updates on that.
Yep, I think you're talking about the what the proposal now called ordered tree structured maps. Really, there's no real update there, because partly I'm still trying to convince the team that it's a good idea. Partly, yeah, I mean, it's just that this one takes.
There are at least two people that think this is a good idea. You and me.
Yeah, but I'm sort of trying to this will take a while to implement, because it's a code change. It's a specification change specifically from. Actually, no, I'm speaking out of my arse. This is not. Yeah, no, it could be implemented, but it's just I haven't got around to it yet.
Okay, no worries. Just a quick update. I'm going to keep an eye on the link that you posted. It's very useful. I'm going to keep an eye on that, and when it's merged, I would like to port all my data extensive calls that I'm doing in the realm right now to the new struct, and also implement pagination.
Yeah,
thank you.
If you can just put subscribe on the right, on the column on the right, and GitHub will send you emails for whatever happens
of course.
there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that was my update, Michelle. Thank you.
Thank you. And then the last one that we had, he could not make it, but you might know him as Amrit on GitHub, because he made some ledger contributions. He also has an outstanding multi-sig grant idea proposal, and he has some other ideas, but he couldn't make it, so it is still there. We're at the time. I don't know if there's any remaining questions, or if anyone else that didn't talk that is here would like to introduce himself or throw an idea. But if not, then I think that's everything for this week. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for your time, and see you next week.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.